How's it going, everyone? TheOdie is back, and we are going to implement our final chase scene for our RPG horror puzzle game. In addition, we are going to implement the end credits and the ending of this game that will wrap it all up. Okay, so to begin with, let's start by finishing up the end chase sequence. And the way that the chase sequence is going to work is that the player will have a flashlight, and every time he turns it on, Jake will be able to see where the player is. And because of that, Jake will run straight towards the player. In addition, in the dark, if Eric was to, aka the player, to step on a puddle of the blood or on a piece of paper, then Jake will be able to hear that and make a few steps towards that sound, okay? And in addition, a key will be randomly set to one of a few locations, such that it will change every single time the player loads up from that save data, okay? That way it will not be, say, underneath this chair every single time after he dies. It could be on this chair one position, but then it could be under this table, somewhere under here, and the way we're going to visually make that is such that when the player turns on their flashlight, they will be able to see the key. You'll see that little twinkly light effect, and then the only way you can grab the key is with your flashlight is on. You ready? So now it kind of creates this balance. When the flashlight is on, you can find the key to escape, but Jake can see you and he'll run straight at you. Alright, so that's where the challenge comes in for the player in terms of difficulty of this end chase sequence. Alright, now other than that, let's start first by making the sound effects for these little sorts of blood splatters and paper. Okay? So for the blood splatter, it was very simple. All I did, just go here, type in blood for the name, look for the sound effect, and let's look for a splash. Splash, 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 splash. We're gonna change up the pitch a bit, as well as the volume. And there we go. Apply, okay. And we won't copy and paste it just yet because we have to change it such that during the chase sequence, Jake will run towards the player. So we'll copy, oopsies, delete this. We'll copy this page, paste it. So now we have 1 and 2 that's identical. We'll change this for the end chase, and then we'll change this such that the set event location, oopsies, set movement routes of Jake move towards the player 3 times. 3 times. Let's go with 3 times. And then he's going to skip in case he hits the wall, and then just, well, that's it. Doesn't have to wait. You could if you want to. It's only 2 movements. He's not going very far. Okay. Now, other than that, we'll OK this out. We'll OK that out, and then we can actually take it and paste it all around the map. Alrighty? So copy, paste, 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 paste. And now we also gotta do it for the paper. Now, note that the sequence, this one in particular, is gonna be the same regardless of blood or paper. And because of that, we could actually take this, Control copy, OK it out, and go into our common events. Change the max just in case we need more later on. We're gonna call this Jake moves towards player. Paste it. And the reason we would do this is in case we want to make any edits to the movement, say 2 is too little and we actually want 3 or 4, we don't have to continuously copy and paste it about the map. So let's look for call the common event, page 1, common event, going down to Jake moves towards player, apply, OK. So remember, page 1, just a sound. Page 2, because now that the end chasing is switched on, we will now have Jake moving towards the player. So delete all the others that we copy and pasted. Trying to figure out what these are. Oh, I accidentally put it there, eh? And now Control copy, Control C, Control V for paste. Alrighty, now we just got the piece of paper. And the paper is pretty much the same, so we'll paste here, and instead we'll call it paper. And for paper, all it does is make a different sound. So, the sound that I had it make was this. So it's going to play a little bit of this sound to make a sort of sound effect, such that it sounds almost as if the player stepped on a piece of paper. If we highlight it, hit Control R, we could run this little sample so we could hear it for ourselves. It's okay. It's not the best, to be honest, but hey, it's hard to like accurately find the right sounds. You can continue to test it out, try different methods, and we actually need to copy this and paste it in the next one. Delete that one, copy and paste it there, copy this whole event, delete the two I accidentally pasted already, and then paste it about the map. Okay. And then for this one was already set with it, so that one's good. Okay, so now that we have these sort of events going on, we now gotta create and figure out where exactly will we have the key hidden. And I say let's have 5 legitimate locations where the key will actually be, or like say 4 or whatever, and then give like 3 or so that's actually fake, such that the key will not be there no matter what. So if we actually go back to our door and scroll all the way to the end, you have noticed that there are some of these. Temp Y randomized 3 times. And to be honest, you can randomize just once. I chose to randomize 3 times just for the heck of it. And what that temp Y will be is the location of where the key is. So whatever Y value temp Y is equal to, the key will be there. So to do this, first let's make our little image of the twinkly light, because twinkly lights are cool. It's under flame. We'll use the last one. At least I will at the very least. We'll have a stepping animation and the direction will be fixed. Now, this will be key location. You could put a 1 if you want. You don't have to, but we'll put a 1 just for conventions. And then flashlights has to be on. That's the only way you can see it. And end chase also has to be on. So, what this means is that flashlight has to be on and the end chase sequence has to be on. We have to be at that particular part of our game, okay? Well, you guys probably already know that because you guys are geniuses, having made it this far into the tutorial. Okay, so, as you guys have probably expected, we're gonna need, why do I have 2 temp Ys? I don't know. That's strange. Anyways, we're going to go to here, since that's where the randomized value is equated as. If we go all the way back to the bottom, 10 temp Y. Did I use it for something before? Or was it with these boxes? Very peculiar. I don't know. Well, for now, let's assume that... Well, for now, in case we're messing up with something in our game, let's actually edit this and change it to 11, variable 11, and we'll call it end chase. No, we'll call it key spawn. Key spawn. Okay, so we'll delete these 2. You could just leave it as this and be okay with it. However, I like to add more, just so I randomize it some more. Does it really work that way? Who knows? I don't. So we'll go back to our conditional branch of our key. Hit space to edit, go to key spawn, and this one will be 1. Will be 1. And it's going to have an else condition in case it doesn't work out. Okay? So, the reason I chose 1 for this one is because, well, naming convention. We put it as 1, might as well make it 1 as well. And what's going to happen is that he's going to get the item, and this is just copying and pasting from my old code. So it's going to play the sound. Da-da-da, got it. Now I have to get out of here. Play the sound. The player actually gets the key, the exit key. And then in case that key spawn does not equal 1, then this will occur. So play a little bit of a sound effect to show that he is searching, and then he goes, damn, there's nothing here. Control self switch will turn on such that it will erase this event. Okay? Very simple and very easy. So, we also want to make a final page, and that last page is actually going to be when the player finds the exit key. To be honest, you don't really need to have end chase on. You could not. And the reason for that is because we obtain the exit key once this end chase happens. So you don't have to put it on. In this case, we'll leave it on. However, feel free to tick it off. Doesn't matter, okay? So we'll apply there. So now we'll look at this, and you guys are going to tell me if it makes sense. Okay? So first of all, flashlight and end chase have to both be on. And then the key spawn that gets randomized at the end of this event after the save will randomly put the key in many different locations, because as you already could tell now in your head that this key will be copy and pasted about the area, and this value, key spawn equals whatever number, it will vary 1 through 5 or between the different areas that we pasted to. And that's how it will vary between whether or not it will spawn in this location or in a different location after you load up from their save points, okay? So, does it make sense? Key spawn equals 1, they'll obtain the key, player can exit. Otherwise, they'll search, say damn, it's not there, we'll get rid of this twinkly light such that the player will no longer need to search here because they already know that it's not there. And that's what the south switch A comes in. This way, if the player turns on their light again, it will not, well, appear, the twinkly light. And this is if they find the exit key, they have it in their inventory, and then it will turn off all twinkly lights so that the player will know that, hey, they found it, they're good, they can just leave. Okay? So if we take this, copy it, paste it about areas that you want it to be in. So areas that I want it to be in is, here is 1. Hit enter, change key location to 2. Key location, key spawn to 2. Apply, okay. Since everything else is the same, we can keep it as such. Control copy. Let's also have it up here. Yeah, we'll also do it here. Key spawn 3. Location 3. Also, let's put it here. Key spawn 4. Location 4. Notice how I said that backward. Okay, and one last position. Let's put it right, well, let's have it here. Spawn 5, location 5. Okay, now we're gonna make a few fake ones. Let's do 3 fake ones. And we'll do a fake one right here. And for this fake one, we're actually just gonna have this. We could delete that, okay? Does that make sense? So that means the twinkling light will always be there. Based on that randomizer, it can never equate this location. And because of that, it will always be a false one. So he will search, find nothing, and twinkling light will just go. So we can copy, paste it about a few locations. And I think that's pretty good, okay? So 3 fake ones. And we'll call this one 6, 7, okay, and 8, okay? So 6, 7, or 8 are fake, 1 through 5 are randomized, and now that we got the keys set and ready, let's check the door to be sure that the player can actually exit once he finds the key. So if we were to look here, we will see party has their exit key, their flashlight needs to be on, so let's go to the bottom to see that the elf, if we put something there to tell the player that, hey, your flashlight needs to be on, and yes we did, I can't see the keyhole. If he tries to exit without the key, then he says, I need to find the key Jake hid in order to escape. And then if he does have the key and the flashlight, he will escape. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Lemon squeezy. Okay, so now we got one more thing to do. We're not done just yet. Let's open up Jake and check him out. Okay. So based on what we have, he will turn on once the reveal has happened, where Eric opens the door and sees the father. And now Jake should be set to a touch event, and he is. What this means is that when Jake runs into the player and touches the player, as opposed to the player touching the event, so it's more like, say this is you, and this is me, you touch me, it activates. However, if I touch you, it doesn't activate until I force myself on you, and then it will activate, okay? So there's that's the difference there, okay? So, when he touches you, basically the game over will commence, and that's it. We will disable flashlight able just so that the player cannot switch on and off the flashlight in a spamming way such that it becomes annoying. And then we'll have our game over screen. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Okay, so Control S to save, and then now, we need to make Jake run towards the player. So how are we going to do that? Well, it only pertains to this map, and because of that, we do not need to make it into a common event where it's public to everything, similar to how the flashlight was created. Instead, we could just create an event in a corner wherever you want and make it unparalleled process, such that it will only work for this event, and only work for this map, and that's it, okay? So, where I decided to put it was actually inside here, since this was a one-time cutscene only, and then it switches to self-switch A, nothing happens. Well, we create a new page, and have it on end chase, and then create our end chase master controller here. So the first thing we're going to have to check is Conditional Branch, and then Conditional Branch will check if the flashlight is on. We do not need an else branch just because when the flashlight is off, Jake will no longer be running, or the commands will no longer be activated. So, let's first start by giving a little bit of emotion into this, such that when the flashlight turns on, Jake will have this little exclamation. So where are you, Jake? Jake will have an exclamation. And, oopsies, that's animation, huh? Where's balloon? Balloon icon, there it is. Jake, he will exclaim, we will not wait for completion. And the reason for that, if the player decides to spam the flashlight, then he will have Jake continuously locked into this exclamation, and Jake will not actually chase the player. We don't want that to happen. We do not want any cheat modes to occur, okay? So, that's why we will not have to wait for completion on. Alright, so now, when the flashlight's on, Jake will... Where are you, Jake? Set movement routes. Set movement routes. Jake will move towards the player, and his speed will be change speed 5. Apply. So this way, he sees the player, an exclamation comes up, and he dashes straight towards the player. And let's have a little bit of a wait command in between from that exclamation to the chasing, okay? So here we have it. This is how we can make a Jake run towards the player in between each flash. However, if you were to read this line for line, you would come to understand that what will happen is that Jake will exclaim, pause for 20 frames, and then move once towards the player. So imagine this occurring with the player continuously flashing on and off that flashlight. It's a little bit hard to image, but think about Jake just moving towards the player, pausing, moving towards the player, pausing, moving towards the player, pausing. It's extremely awkward, and it's really, really weird to see. So we're going to have to find a way around this, such that the player won't have this sort of cheating stop motion animation for Jake. And just so we could get a better visual of what's going on, let's test play it to see what it actually looks like. Okay, so let's test this out. So as you can tell, he kind of has that laggy movement like I mentioned. Uh-oh, he caught me. The game broke. Okay. So as you can tell there, it kind of has that stop motion laggy movement. And there was another thing to notice with the flashlight. We want it to be pitch black such that the player cannot see where Jake is at all. So there's two things we got going on. Let's first solve the flashlight glitch where we want the screen to turn completely black when the flashlight gets turned off. Okay? So we'll go here, look for a flashlight, and the part where we turn it off, if flashlight's on and when we turn it off, we're going to create a new conditional branch there. And this one is going to be map variable, or map ID rather. I like map ID. And it's going to test if map ID is this current map ID, which is 11, or if we go here, we'll see up here as well, ID 11. So we'll test if map ID is 11, and instead of tinting it, or someone else if, so instead of tinting it this color, which we're going to toss in the else, we're going to tint it completely black. Okay, then we're going to take this, cut, and paste it beneath the switch sound, okay? And then we're going to need a variable to set map ID to the map ID. So, did you guys understand what happened here? I know I went a little bit fast and it was a little bit confusing, but look at it from this perspective right now. Right now, the variable ID is now set to the map ID, which is, in this case, 11. And then it's going to run down the code, line for line, and it's going to play the sound effect of the switch, and then it will double check the map ID if it's 11, aka we're on this map. When we turn the flashlight off, it will be pitch black. Otherwise, it will have the normal color in the other room, okay? Then we'll turn the flashlight off, the typical thing we had before. So that's all we have to do to fix the flashlight glitch, such that it will be completely black when that happens. So the other one we want to check is this one. Okay, so what happened here was that there was a little bit of a timing error, such that the player was able to toggle the flashlight off before this switch occurred. How can we fix this? Well, we have to just assume that we don't hit that off chance. However, if we want to be extra safe, we could, at this point, take this, copy and paste it, change one of them to something fractional, like 140 and then this 110, and then copy and paste this here again. Such that if we miss it the first time, maybe we'll hit it the second time. And I know it's a little bit danky, but hey, there's a very small chance that the player will hit that chance of turning off the flashlight and then seeing this instead, okay? Or turning on the flashlight and then this happens. Because technically, if we turn on the flashlight, the screen will tint to normal, and then flashlight able will turn off and then we'll tint the screen. So technical wise, it's supposed to happen in this process. Why did it not happen? Well, just strange timing coincidences with RPG Maker MV. Okay, so it's basically that 1 in 1 millionth chance, and I guess I was just lucky or unlucky in this case. Okay, so now we got those two going on, and let's retest it to ensure that that process works out. So there we go. As you can tell, we could totally beat him by lagging him like this, and that's not cool. Now let's get caught to see if that flashlight glitch happens again, and it doesn't, so we're actually really good there. Okay. So now, the next question, the next part is, how can we make Jake better, such that he chases you for a longer period of time before giving up? And one way, yeah, as you may have expected, is to take this and paste it a few times. Now, let's visually see if it has any certain effects. So as you can tell, he's making his way, and he's a lot more difficult, okay? Because he moves more spaces before giving up. So yeah, that's one way you could do it. However, there's another way we could do this as well. Say we want Jake to have a few different parameters, such that our flashlight is turned on, and he has the option of walking slowly towards the player, sprinting towards the player like he is now, or walking at a normal pace towards the player. And say that after the flashlight has been turned on for X amount of time, we want Jake to start sprinting instead of walking or slowly walking towards the player. And that would be more preferred if we do have that walking start, because if you can imagine Jake being conditioned to that slow walk towards the player, then the player will just leave the flashlight on at that point and continue about the map. And that will be basically his freebie, the player's freebie. And we don't want that. So we want to start Jake with a slow walk and eventually make his way to a sprint. And the way we would do that is with, you probably guessed it, a loop. If you haven't guessed it, then don't worry. This is actually a little bit complex and out of thought and out of mind. So let's get rid of all those move players and we'll cut and paste this in here. Now remember, we're going to have Jake with 3 options. He's going to either sprint, walk at our normal pace, or start off very, very slow. So we're going to have to create a variable. So what we can do here is we could totally just take one of the old variables that we know will not be used from this point onwards in the game, such as shovel X or shovel Y. There's no way we're going to return back to that map, and we could easily just use it in here, say for create X and create Y. However, for simplicity, I will create a new one and we'll call it Jake Chase Parameter. It's going to randomize between 1 and 3 set, okay? Such that inside the loop, we're going to have conditional branches, 3 of them. And it's going to be set to Jake Chase Parameter. If it's equal 1, then Jake will move at this pace. So obviously we're going to need an else branch. If it equals 2, he'll move slightly slower. Let's have him move at normal pace, okay? And then if it's 3, we could actually close out this else branch now, just because there's no more lingering effects. If it equals 3, oopsies, 3, he will be at a fairly slow crawl, okay? So this is what we got going on now. Now, before we continue on, let's first assume, hey, let's create chances for this, such that Jake will move at a normal pace more frequently than the slow pace or the fast pace. So to do that, what we will do is increment this from 1 to 5. And now we will say that, hey, if Jake Chase Parameter equals 1, he'll hit 5. If Jake Parameter equals 5, then he'll hit 2. Now how do we do if Jake Parameter equals 2 to 4? Well, one way, we could create 2 else branches, and what it will look like is this. Jake is greater than or equal to 2, and control copy, control paste, and less than or equals to 4, or greater than or equals to 2. So this is one way we could do it. If it's in between 2 to 4, including 2 and 4, then he could move at a speed of 4. However, if we were to look at this here, we will see that our extremities, 1 is set to 5. If Jake Chase Parameter equals 5, he'll be at speed 2. But how about everything else in between? Well, guess what? We could take this entire conditional branch, cut it, paste it in here, open this up for an else branch, take the contents of Jake Chase Parameter 2, paste it in here, and then delete that old conditional branch. So now what this is saying, hey, if Jake Chase Parameter, the randomizer, equals 1, his speed will be 5. If the parameter equals 5, his speed will equal 2. What's left? If it's not 1, and if it's not 5, that means from 2 to 4, he will be at speed 4. And that's why this works out this way. And as you can tell, it's a lot cleaner, and it's a lot simpler than the 2 conditional branches, where the conditional branch was inside each other, okay? So you have options. As a programmer, coder, developer, you have options. Choose whichever works for you. This works for me, but if you prefer the other way, do it that way, okay? So does this process make sense to you? If it does, then cool. If it's not, click the video, hit the left arrow key a bit, play it, so we can rewind the video and rewatch it, okay? Anyways, moving on. We're not done just yet. Assume that the player managed to get Jake moving at this slow pace, and remember, after a certain amount of time, we want Jake to pick up the pace and start running, okay? So, from this point onward, what we are going to do is that we need to make a sort of counter. And we're going to have to do a custom counter, not the timer that we see here, but our own custom counter. Okay, and the way we do that is control variable, go here, let's create one. We'll call it loop_I, just for the lack of a better name. Okay, it's going to start at 0. And then if we go to our loop, let's go to the very bottom, and let's make loop I increment, add 1 at a time. Okay, so now if we were to look at this, remember that RPG Maker moves at a fraction of a second. So if we don't have any wait command here, then it's going to increment every single frame. So in 1 second, we're already going to be at 60. Hell, we might even be at a higher number. Who knows how fast RPG Maker actually processes. So we're going to have to create a wait command. So let's say, let's wait for 5 frames at a time. Okay, this is where the math gets involved, and this is where it gets a little bit tricky. But hey, it's just arithmetic or fundamentals of physics, so it's very simple. Don't worry, there's no cosines or sines or tangents, no trigonometry, just straight up addition, multiplication, and division. Sorry, no addition, just multiplication and division. Okay? So, say we want Jake to be walking for a max of 3 solid seconds. So, what number is that? We know that there are 60 frames in a second. And if this is waiting at 5 frames each, that means this will have to loop a total of 60 divided by 5, 12 times to reach 1 second. So, what we're going to have here is a conditional branch. Variable loop I. So if it equals 12 times, then hey, that's 1 second. Remember? 60 frames is 1 second. So 60 divided by 5, we're dividing by 5. We chose 5 because this loop is going to wait for 5 frames each time before it loops again. So now, based on what we see here, just is checking, hey, has it been 1 second yet? Okay, but we want it for 3 seconds. So now we're going to take this value of 12 and multiply it by 3. 3 times 12, 36. If you don't know that off the top of your head, use Google, use your calculator, use your phone, whatever. Use your fingers. I happen to memorize my multiplication tables. It's very easy. Okay? So now if you want to wait for 4 seconds, you'll do 4 times 12. What's 4 times 12 to you guys? 48. If you want to do it 5 seconds, 60. But for now, we're going to do 36. Okay? And then once it loops 36 times, we're going to tell Jake chase parameter is now equals to 1. So Jake chase parameter is now equal to 1. And why do we choose 1? Because remember, 1 is where Jake starts sprinting. So now if we were to look at this, we will see flashlight switches on. You could choose any of these 3 parameters. Which one will you choose? If he chooses the first one, then even though it will loop all of this time, he will still be sprinting. If we choose this one, then he's gonna slowly crawl towards you for 3 seconds. And then he's gonna chase the player at a sprint. Same if he walks at a normal pace. So there you guys have it. So there's still one more thing we gotta do left. And remember, whenever you have a loop, you have to break your way out of that loop. So if we were to look at this, what can we do to break this loop? Obviously, when the flashlight is turned off, he'll stop moving. So let's have it as that. You put it at the end, you can put it at the top, wherever you want in this case, for this case rather. If the flashlight is off, then, well ho ho. Break loop. There you have it, you guys. we now have how Jake moves. So let's OK it. Control S for save, Control R for run. Okay. Ah! Okay, so there you go. There he goes. He's moving at a normal pace. Then he's sprinting after 3 seconds later. See? And now it's a little bit harder. It's a little bit nicer on us. It's pretty awesome. Okay, so the only thing you'll recognize here at this point is, hey, maybe you don't like his speed. Maybe you don't like the way it works out. Maybe you want to change it up a bit. Maybe instead of 3 seconds, we'll have him go at us for 2 seconds. Oh god. Oh lord. Did I die? I died. So, if you want to change it up, then hey, you guys now know what to do. You guys know which parameter to edit. Obviously, it's this one. If you want to wait for 2 seconds instead, 24. If you want to wait for 2.5 seconds, 31, I think? 31. If you want to wait for, maybe it's 32. What was the other one? 24, and then it goes to 36. Plus 30. Oh, I'm an idiot. 30. If you wanted to wait for 1.5 seconds, then what's between 12 and 24? 18. There you go. I'll have it at 18. I want to make it a little bit more difficult. So, you guys, there you guys have it. Control S for save. And there you have Jake. Now we got one more thing to do. See this here? Our Jake move towards player. If you notice here, his speed, Jake's speed, will have changed countless times every time we turn on and off the flashlight. However, when it's pitch black and we actually hit this, what do we want? We want Jake to move towards the player, but slowly. So, we're going to want to test to see if the flashlight is off. If the flashlight is on, then we do nothing because we already have everything being controlled by that single event, aka this one, by these 3 processes. So we're good there. But if the flashlight is off, we want to change his speed to something a lot slower because he's in the dark. Who the heck wants to sprint in the dark? You'll run into a wall. So Jake, change speed, and we'll put it to a crawl. And make sure this one's on wait, such that we ensure that his speed changes to slow before he starts moving. Okay? Okay, Control S. And we did it! The end chase scene for Jake. Feel free to stretch, you guys, because it feels so good. All we have left to do is our final cutscene. And I'm gonna show you that, guys. So you can conclude the game however you want. I'm gonna conclude the game in a different way. And what I want to do is when Eric leaves the room and makes his way here, he's gonna come to notice that, hey, he's actually been blocked off. What the heck? Jake pushed the boxes around such that Eric is screwed no matter what. That's cheating. What kind of game is this, you know? Go on. Kidding. So, gonna go here, copy, paste it. The ability to turn on and off your flashlight, well, it's not possible. The flashlight has to stay and remain on. So, first of all, change our conditions. Remove this. Make sure that the player is on the end chase. Apply this. So we could get rid of this. And then we're gonna move the crates over such that they're now blocking this passageway. Okay? So all we need is a max of 2 crates. And let's use page 4. Why the heck not? Crate 1. Crate 1 will be here. Crate 2 will now be, oopsies, that's the same spot. Will now be here. Let's just move all the crates there. Crate 3 down there. Okay? Apply. Now, we want to make sure that the flashlight is on and stays on no matter what. So let's go back to our room with cabinet, check the door to see if flashlight able was turned off. It is not. So what we're gonna do here at the very tippity top, similar to what we did before, is that we're gonna go to our switches, flashlight able is off. In the case that he has not left this room yet, Control copy, look for all the else if, and turn it on. Look for the else if, and turn it on. Now, if we read this, does everything look right? Everything checks off. Yep, party key, else turns it back on, turns it back on. Yep, everything looks good. Okay. Okay it, Control S, go back to our basement, and now we just need our final cutscene. This is what I'm going to put for my final cutscene. Your guys is going to be different, feel free to, or just pause the screen and copy me exactly, okay? I'm not really going to run through it just because it's all dialogue and all cutscene, and we already learned how to do all that. So I copy and paste it from my original game file into here, and we're going to scroll through it line for line to understand this. So, no, it's on player touch and it's below. What that means is that the player will have to walk into the square, and then this cutscene will play out. So what's first going to happen? Trying to find a way to make it work out. Okay, you guys can see it, right? It's okay. Yeah, you guys are okay. So first he's going to turn down. He's going to say, "No, Jake blocked the path." Music fades out. Cutscene. Door opens. Door opens. Door turns into Jake to show that it's Jake instead. Jake moves down. Jake, don't do this. Dialogue, dialogue, dialogue. This is Jake now. Door is now Jake. More dialogue and cutscene. La-di-da, la-di-da. Don't worry, I'll give you a chance to pause it, but for now, just look at it. Sound effects. Thank you, Eric. You were my best friend. He kills him. Then a little synopsis. Remember how we started off the game with rumors? Well, just for the sake of sticking to a topic or sticking to an idea or flow of the game, we're going to end the game with rumors. Okay? So if we continue here, you'll notice that these are more rumor-esque dialogues. And then here, we're going to have something special. It's called our end credits. And the way that our end credits are, let me just delete this because we didn't actually use it in this mode, and I'm going to show you that part when we actually add in our plugins. So this is our credits. So for the credits, it's, well, pretty obvious. It's just credits. And credits is scrolling text. You can edit it however you like. This is the way I edit mine. My preference is to avoid this line here because this is kind of like the cutoff line. So do not go over that line. So if you had any game testers, mine was Kevin Hohen. So thank you, Kevin Hohen, before playing this. He's a good friend of mine. Feel free to thank me for teaching you how to make this. It'd be very, very nice. Very, very nice. Remember to thank the plugins. Those who created the plugins for you, or the plugins that you use, thank those who created those. Feel free to thank the RPG Maker engine itself. I mean, the credits. Very simple, very obvious. Just be mindful of who helped you with making this game. Okay? So okay it out, Control save, and we'll Control run it so we could see how it ends. As well as test play to see how difficult it actually is. I feel like it's rather difficult. Hey, who knows, you know? Maybe we'll get lucky and the key will just be in that table in front of me. Damn it, there's nothing there. Okay, so I know where to put them. Oh god, did I die? Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god. Okay, that's a fake one. Let's go to this one. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, let's get out of here. Before you start sprinting. And here we are. No, Jake blocked the path. Jake, so do this. Please, Jake, I came here because I wanted to help you. You are Jake. Jake! I'm so excited. Jake! And he's dead. He's like a creepy pervert. Thank you, Eric. My best friend. Oh yeah, and those dad noses. My god. He's overly obsessive. And we got this failure. And the reason for that is because, well, there's a BGM thing. Do 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 do. Haha. I believe it's Town 2 that I'm using. Nope, Town 1. And we're gonna slow it down to 80. Yep. Okay. So theme 2 for that one. Okay. And yeah, sure, why not? Alright, so actually I don't really like it. Yeah, why not? Theme 2. Yeah, what the heck, you know? Okay, so the reason for that error was because, again, I took it from my original game, and in my original game I actually imported music into it. So it actually has a slightly larger library of music. And it conflicted because I could not find where the music was, because I never saved that music in this game file. Okay? So now that we have that, it should fix it. And I'll fast forward to that position, so don't worry. Okay, now continuing on. Yo, did you guys hear? What are you freaking out about? Eric was murdered! What? Apparently he was found in Jake's basement and was discovered to have been murdered about a month ago. Oh my god. Is Jake murdered too? No, he's missing, but his father was found dead in the basement too. Yo guys, Jake murdered Eric! I mean, it's the only outcome that makes sense. I knew he was nuts. All he did was keep to himself. Makes me wonder how long he has been planning all of this. That monster! How could he kill Eric? I loved him. If they don't catch him, then who knows what he'll become. How terrifying would this be if he continued? I just had a scary thought. What if it does, and he becomes a serial killer? Dun 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 dun! That slow-mo laugh is so ugly. Oh my god. There we have the credits, created by TheOdie in honor of his 400 YouTube subscriber special, so his viewers can enjoy and learn alongside. Did you guys learn alongside? Special thanks to my buddy Kevin Holman for game testing. The major title, One Dangerous Night, is presumed to be released towards the end of 2017. That's right, you guys, I'm gonna make a new game. And ignore this part here, because it doesn't actually exist. See? So now what I'm going to do is delete that little portion there because it does not actually exist. And if you want to see that little portion there, then download my actual game and play it out to the very end. You also see a few differences. So here you guys are. Screenshot it. Check it out if you want to write it up the exact same way as I did. And we could actually get rid of the save. And instead, we'll force a game over. Or return to title screen rather. And we're gonna wait for a little bit longer than 3 seconds. Let's do 6 seconds, 5 seconds, 5 seconds. So 2 extra seconds from this fade out of the music. Then the player will return back to the title screen, and there we have it. We're done. We are done. But there's still more to come. In the next part, what I'm gonna do is actually give you guys a few plugins, and we're gonna figure out how can we make this better visually or just overall mechanics wise, because in my opinion, page down for a flashlight is extremely awkward. I want it on F. So that's one thing we're gonna change. Another thing we're gonna change is I want an autosave feature, okay? Because rereading that whole Jake portion is rather annoying. So I want an autosave feature. What else do I want? Let's get a better flashlight feature. Tinting the entire screen is kind of lame, so we'll get an actual flashlight feature there. Is there anything else? And there's one more thing that I'm gonna have us do, and what that is, just so that we don't have to go through cutscenes, we're gonna go to a previous file. We hit our escape, you'll notice that we have skills, equipments, status, formations, and we can see our HP, see our MP, see our level, as well as our, I guess, title or class. And I don't want to see that. All I want to see is item, options, save, and game in. I don't even want to see the gold down there. So we're going to change that up too. We're going to actually go into our JavaScript manager and change that around. Remove those things rather. Okay? So the next part, we're going to get into scripting. We're going to see and we're going to utilize this lovely feature here, script in the advanced or plugin command when we add in our plugins, and then you guys are going to see how lovely this will become. Much more lovelier. If you guys already played my version, then you will have known how much lovelier it can become. Alright you guys, this is TheOdie. Keep RPG, and I'll see you in the next part of our game making series. Doesn't mean it's our last, but it's our next part. Wink wink hint hint. With JK, who knows? Who knows? Who knows? It's TheOdie. Why? So next up, we're going to go to line 1582. So all the way down. 2. And this here is where we add information. Well, I'm going to get rid of that. Original commands is if you knew how to use JavaScript and you added in your own menu commands such as items, skills, etc. Okay? So we're going to go